Welcome to your Saga Oasis. Stories behind every tear. Why do some people cry easily, while others don't? Some people seem to remain calm in any situation, but others can't hold back their emotions and may even tear up while watching a short video on social media. Have you ever wondered which group you belong to? Let's explore the reasons behind this difference together. Is crying bad? You might not know or notice, but many of us go through emotional turmoil every month over seemingly small things that make our mood worse. Sometimes we feel lonely because of trivial matters, and at night we curl up and cry. There are times when, after crying, our eyes are swollen. We look in the mirror and find ourselves looking odd, and then we can't help but laugh. After laughing, we scroll through TikTok, watching funny cat videos, but then suddenly come across a video of an elderly woman living alone with no children, wandering around a street corner, and we might start crying immediately. These moments make us wonder why our mood changes so unpredictably. Are we really happy when we laugh? Or is it just a way to hide our emotions? And why do we cry so easily? Do we have trouble controlling our emotions and behavior? According to clinical health psychologist Melissa Garrity, crying can't be simply classified as right or wrong. In other words, frequently shedding tears is not necessarily a bad thing. People don't just cry when they're sad. Tears are a complex bodily response. Sometimes, unexpectedly warm moments or overwhelming happiness can also bring us to tears. We often assume that tears are a sign of sadness. Most of us dislike crying and see it as a negative experience. When we cry, especially for a long time or intensely, we can feel our heart and lungs behaving abnormally. Each bout of crying causes the heart and lungs to contract, elongating and compressing our breath for quite a while, leading to insufficient oxygen in the blood, making us feel awful. However, this is just the feeling before and during crying. After crying, we often feel entirely different, with up to 80% of people feeling better afterward. Melissa Garrity also explains that crying is not only a natural reaction, but can also be considered a form of therapy. Many people share that after allowing themselves to cry, they find they can view and resolve issues more effectively. It's like stress relief, releasing pent-up emotions and helping us move forward with a more positive mindset. Why do you cry more easily than others? To explain why some of us cry more easily than others, we can consider several reasons. First, according to a study published in the journal Emotion Review in 2016, certain personality types can make a person more sensitive. People with high empathy, also known as those with anxious or neurotic personalities, tend to cry more often. These individuals are very sensitive to their surroundings and the emotions of others, and they are easily affected by others' opinions and remarks. Second, being prone to tears can also be related to hormonal changes in the body. Hormones affect how we react to different situations. Dr. Gail Saltz from Weill Cornell Medical College also asserts that hormones play a crucial role in regulating body functions such as hunger, reproduction, emotions, and mood. Any factor causing hormonal changes, such as the time before a woman's period, the time after giving birth, or the time when a woman's period stops permanently, can make women more prone to crying. Third, The reasons for being easily brought to tears can also stem from childhood trauma or living environments. Frequent or sudden crying can occur if we have suppressed many emotions from past situations. A recent study by the National Institute of Health in the United States has shown that adults who experience childhood trauma tend to cry more often and are more likely to develop psychological disorders such as depression, anxiety disorders, or other mental health issues. Fourth, there are many gender-related reasons that explain why some people cry more easily than others. According to a study published in the journal Emotion Review 2016, women tend to cry 2 to 4 times more than men. Dr. Garrity also points out that, in society, women shedding tears is more readily accepted compared to men. Therefore, women may not feel the need to hide their emotions. Biologically, according to the American Psychological Association, hormones also play a significant role. Testosterone, a male hormone, seems to inhibit crying, while women have higher levels of prolactin, another hormone that contributes to making them more prone to tears. Fifth, cultural norms also play an important role. In many cultures, men often have more difficulty expressing emotions due to societal expectations of a strong image. This can make them less likely to cry, or feel it is challenging to show vulnerability through crying. When a little girl falls and hurts herself, her mother often comforts her with, "Don't cry, sweetie, be good." In contrast, for a little boy, the comforting words are often, "You're a boy, it's just a scratch, be strong." While these words might seem encouraging, they can actually place a psychological burden on boys, making them feel that crying is inappropriate and that they aren't allowed to show their true emotions. To nurture a mentally healthy generation, we should allow children to express their emotions naturally and support them when they need it, regardless of their gender. The truths inside those who don't cry easily. However, pointing out the above reasons doesn't mean that people who rarely cry or always maintain a calm, composed demeanor are not sensitive, don't experience hormonal changes, or haven't gone through childhood trauma. In reality, we know many friends who, no matter how significant the issue or difficult the situation, can endure and overcome it alone. A girl, after ending a 5-year relationship, remains calm and continues her daily routine without any disruption. Or a young man, sitting silently, holding his mother's hand as she lay on her deathbed, without shedding a single tear. We also know a friend who works 14 hours a day in the office. In the morning, she crashes her bike. In the afternoon, her bag is stolen. At work, she gets scolded by her boss, and she returns home at midnight to sit alone in an empty room. She just sits there, silently staring into space, her face showing no emotion. We don't see them cry, so we label them as people who don't cry. But that's only because we don't witness it. We have no idea what that girl went through on the night she broke up. She cried loudly, cried until her eyes were swollen, cried to the point where she couldn't breathe. But the next morning, she used a cold spoon on her eyes, put on makeup, and wore a radiant smile as usual. We also don't know that the boy didn't shed a single tear because he didn't want his mother to see him as weak. People say hearing is the last sense to go when someone passes away, so he suppressed his pain to keep silent. Who could know that after laying his mother to rest, he went home, sat in her room, and stared at their photo together, crying like a child. We also don't know that the office worker friend who faced so many terrible things the day before used to cry a lot and even hurt herself, but now doesn't bother to cry anymore. Too much pressure has numbed her emotions. Now, she just stays silent and keeps enduring. Over time, she has lost touch with her own feelings, not even recognizing or being able to name her emotions anymore. Children suffer less than adults in some ways because they cry easily. They are more innocent and human than adults, who often suppress and endure their emotions, gradually becoming more indifferent and functioning like emotionless machines. We must acknowledge that crying is a very natural reflex unique to humans. It is also an essential part of our body's functioning. Additionally, crying highlights the emotional landscape of humanity. Not crying easily also has its consequences. It is not a sign that we are tough. On the contrary, holding back tears, especially if we always try to avoid crying, is not good for our mental health. When our body faces strong emotions, the mind can overpower reason and tears will fall. If the frequency of our crying increases abnormally, if we often cry alone, cry suddenly, or cry without reason, and if we cannot control our tears, mood, emotions, or behavior, it is very likely that our body is under excessive stress or even showing signs of depression. Dr. Salt states that if we weren't prone to crying in the past, but now find ourselves crying a lot, or if we sometimes laugh uncontrollably or get angry without reason, we should pay attention to possible emotional disorders. This could be due to brain trauma, such as from a stroke, organ injuries, memory loss, or other reasons. It is important to be mindful of these signs and seek medical help when necessary. Behind each tear is a long story that outsiders can hardly understand, and there is nothing shameful about those tears. If you feel tired or sad, allow yourself to cry. When you can't find the words to express your sorrow, emotions can be released through tears, helping to lighten your heart. However, we should also observe each time we cry to recognize any signs of distress and seek help promptly. Don't let yourself cry alone, and don't remain lonely for too long. Do whatever it takes, but don't hide your pain deep inside and cry by yourself. Although crying can be a form of release, if the pain still lingers within, no one can truly understand what you are feeling. You deserve to be loved more than that, and those glistening tears should be reserved for things that are truly worthy. It's the end of the video. Thank you for joining us today, and don't miss out on more videos from us by subscribing and turning on the notification bell icon.